Hello, everybody. Good morning. I hope everybody's doing well. I was doing some searching the other day for some clear indication that I was making my own progress with ascending to the fifth dimension. There is a lot of confusion around that because a lot of people seem to think we're going to be catapulted into some new place, or that there is something that will happen that will bring us to this enlightened part of our world. But actually, there are a lot of symptoms that or signs that we have already started to move into the ascension, and some of those are very visible to us, are very um, apparent to us, and some of them are not so apparent, but seem to be part of the plan. So I did want to go over some of those things with you, and also to hear about what you think about them, and also to discuss how we might raise our own vibrations or change our own way of being in order to ascend to that higher dimension as well. I really do believe that the fifth dimension and the ascension that is being talked about is a global one. It is one where a lot of us are finally aligned with our purpose, and a lot of us are working really diligently to remain spiritual, even though we have to live in a 3D world. And some of us have to sequester. And this is the same way with monks who, they don't feel that they can give all to their spiritual training unless they're sequestered away somewhere. And I know that I'm not real thrilled about being, quote, out there in the real world, running around with angry people, but at the same time have to live in this world and have to deal with, finding my way around it. One of the biggest signs I found about the spiritual ascension is one that's very, very difficult for us to grasp sometimes, and very difficult for us to do because we're surrounded by it each day, and that is judgment. You can see that there are many times, especially with the political people, that those who do not judge other people, or who don't choose to get in a real snit with somebody, have moved beyond and are more reasonable, let's say, than other people who are still stuck in the third dimension thinking. I was aware of this yesterday when somebody asked Marco Rubio, senator from Florida, whether or not he would support the bill for same-sex marriage. And he said, "This is something stupid. We shouldn't waste our time on it." And he stepped into the elevator with Tammy, what's her last name? Anyway, another senator. She's the only senator that's completely outed herself. And he turned around sort of to his worst nightmare, that he was going to have to deal with listening to what this woman might say, who is gay and who this does matter to. But he was positioned in such a way that he couldn't escape. And so she was very kind to him. She said, "I just want, this is why it's important to me. This is why it isn't a waste of time." And she talked to him as she went along. She did not berate him. She did not get into any kind of altercation with him. She chose to show her non-judgment into his own way of thinking, while providing her judgment or her understanding of why they were doing it. It is really difficult because we come from a judgmental world. If it isn't one thing, it's another. And, we even make judgments about what we like and don't like, what we like to eat, what we like to wear, what we like to do, what we like to think. And we must stop judging other people. But, and maybe even more importantly, we should not be judging ourselves. We are the best we can be. Oh, we strive to be the best we can be. Does that mean we'll never make a judgment claim? Or no, of course not. What it means is we might do it, and then we recognize that it isn't coming from a place we want to be at. And so we have to raise our vibration. As Michelle Obama would say, when they go low, we go high. It's all about that. It's all about that. we have to have less ego. I'm no better than anyone else. No one else is any better than me. We have to accept variety. We have to be non-judgmental and compassionate and not make comparisons. Oh, I did that better than you. They'd like this better than me. Whatever it is, we have to stop doing that. It is a work in progress. It never gets attained completely. I think that we even saw in the great teachers such as Jesus that he got angry with the tax collectors and money people in the I can't remember in the marketplace, and he tossed everything on the ground and said, what the heck are you doing here? And then he had to realize this wasn't going to get him anywhere. Okay, so whatever beliefs you believe in, and I only use that example because it's something that I remembered. He had to stop that because judgment didn't get him anywhere. It only brought him to their level. The second one, and these are not easy ones to do. Okay, I just want you to know that this is not like, oh, this is no problem, I can do this. It is to recognize that every day and at all times, all your needs are met. Doesn't mean all your wants are met, but all your needs are met. You don't have to worry. And this was one of my hardest things that I had to learn, that all my needs were met. And I was able to feel comfortable in my world because I knew that I didn't have to worry about how I was going to do this or how I was going to eat, how I was going to pay the bills. And a lot of times you don't come to that until you are right at that level where Maslow's hierarchy of needs tells you, this is the base. And then from here, then you go up here and it goes into a pyramid. And at the top of the pyramid, you're attaining it. But you cannot always feel that way when you are having a really difficult time. You don't have a place to live. You don't have a place. That's difficult. It's very, very difficult. But in turning it over and realizing that all your needs will be met, just as though they say all the birds' needs are met. They don't spin or toil, and they don't fret about, how they're going to make their way through the world. We have to be that way as well. So once again, we have judgment, and now we have trust in our needs being met and that everything is going to be okay. A lot of times we want others to tell us that. Oh, why can't someone tell me that everything is going to be okay? Why? Because you have to believe it. You are the one that has to own it. No one else can do that for you. The third thing I've seen is that people are beginning to realize this, that everything is energy and everything vibrates at different rates. And many times it takes us a while to manifest something. And many times as we grow in the spiritual path and our vibration gets higher, we can instantly manifest things in the real world. It can happen to us. Sometimes we're so surprised when it does, we don't know what to do because we're just, wow, but we trusted that it would be met and that all of those things would manifest for us. This is something that's a work in progress as well, as is everything. The Buddha attained enlightenment, but when he didn't just sit there and say, hi, I know everything now. I'm up here sitting on this and everybody, I'm enlightened. No, it's a work in progress. He had to keep doing the things that brought him to that point in order to keep him up at that level. This is what we need to do as well. And when we are feeling low, we need to acknowledge that and then say to ourselves, I am enough. Everything is working out the way it's supposed to work, and I am divinely guided. The quicker manifesting is when magic happens. That's when you're really tuned in and tapped in, and the things manifest at a much higher rate. I haven't gotten there yet, but I've sure gotten better. A lot of my allowing and my turning myself over to the universe to take care of my problem was what I saw when my roof was bad, and I had to take care of that. And I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to turn it over. And yet I remained very calm throughout. And all the people that rallied for me are still absolutely loved and ingratiated for everything that they did. If they, even if they voiced their support, if they voiced their love, it was not all about monetary. It was all about gathering around and being part of a big community that loves you. Number 5, this is hard for me. It always has been hard for me. But I find when I do it, everything changes. And it's eating lighter. It's choosing correct foods, non-processed foods, shifting us from disease and pain into a more solid foundation, finding what works for you, choosing fruits and vegetables, choosing water as a drink, moving away from any kind of alcohol or drugs or chocolate, although I still have to have some sometimes. It raises our consciousness. And there are some beliefs that our consciousness can be so raised that eventually we may not even need food to exist. They call these people the breatharians, that they just need air to live. I don't know if I buy that, but I do certainly buy the idea that I need to eat lighter because I feel better, I have more energy, I sleep better, and I just, everything about, your skin begins to shine and you begin to feel like you can pretty much do anything you want to do because you have the energy to do it, no matter what age you are, no matter what condition you're in. The other one, there's another one, eliminating toxins from your life. Oh my goodness. And don't just think that it's food. It can be people. It can be circumstances. It can be thoughts. It can be substances. It can be processed foods and emotions. We may have toxic emotions. We may not have worked on shadow work. We may not want to go there, but we need to do it. We need to get rid of that, what's below, and bring it out, release it, and tread lightly with it. This is very important. We don't realize the toxic behaviors that we allow to be around us or within us. We must see that that is not something that we want to entertain at all. Number 7 is a deeper connection with nature. Oh, we always say that when we're giving readings. Go out and ground yourself. Go out in nature and walk around. Take your shoes off. Walk around and see the birds and see the dragonflies and see the bears or see the deer. I notice that when I have focused on my own self attainment, my own self-belief system, my own self-work, that I do see more and more signs from nature. I see beautiful flowers. I see green, beautiful trees. I see deer walk by my window. I see dragonflies. I see butterflies that I haven't seen in forever because the monarch butterfly is becoming an endangered species. We should worry about this. We should. How about the bees around the flowers? All of these things vibrate at different levels, but all of them work together to bring you nature. It is our nature to spend time in nature. We need to do it. We need to hug a tree or sit up with a tree at our back. And it's said that many people will really be wanting to live in the country, away from the cities, away from the buildings. And I think I talked about that when I talked about the tower. We want green. We want quiet. We want serenity and peace. And we want that even more the older we get. I was always a busy person wanting to go here, go there, go do this, go do that. Now I just want to be. I don't want to do. I want to be. Number 8 is oneness with everything and everyone. It's hard for us to imagine that we are a soldier in Ukraine. We are a child that is suffering from abuse, that we are an empowered woman or man that is part of who we see, who we are, and who we have emulated in our lives. Many of us choose those powerful mentors that bring us what we need in order to fulfill what it is that we love doing. It's just so important. It's so important to surround ourselves with the idea that we are one. There are no splits. We are one with God. We are one with the universe. We are one with the galaxy. We are one with each other. We are one with the animals. We are one with nature. We are the great I am. I am oneness. I am not alone. I am connected to all things. Number 9, and I think this is important because it's one of the things that I follow and discuss a lot in some of my shows, and that's connection to dreams, lucid and vivid. Lucid dreams mean you can sort of change the outcome of your dream. It's a hard thing to do unless you know how to do it. But vivid dreams, dreams you remember, dreams you wake up from and say, what was that? Write it down. Write it down, keep a log, and then go back and see how that has impacted you in your waking time. It's the only time that we have where we're disconnected, sort of in a coma of life. We are laying down and allowing these pictures to come into our minds and to give us so much wisdom, but we ignore it. Sometimes that wisdom is painful. Sometimes it's working through our shadow. Sometimes it's telling us what we need to pay attention to. All of these things are vital for us to remember and to think on. If you're clairvoyant, if you're clairaudient, or have any of the clairs, write down what it is you see, hear, touch, smell, taste. These things develop once you develop some of those dreams that you're having. These lead to other things. Hone in on the symbols. Hone in on what's going on the radio. Hone in on who you bump into. Hone in on what you see. Those are messages to you. They're all messages, every single one of them. You have a card reading, what comes up? When you do your own card reading, put it in your book, as Susan Lynn always told us, and write down what card you had and look and see if you have a pattern there. It's very important. Number 10. Psychic abilities enhance connection to gifts and intuition. There are many of us that have been called to opening a channel on this YouTube channel, to learning more about what it is we need to know, to connecting with others of like mind, to wanting materials to read and understand and classes to take and gifts. And we know what our gifts are. We know what our gifts are. And why do I know that? Because I just kept pushing it back so many times that I didn't know. And of course I knew. Of course I knew. Because everything is here. There's nothing out there that's going to tell you what's in here. This in here can tell you what might be out there. But you have to make that decision. You are here for a reason. And that reason should be made evident to you in any format that you find it to be. What is it that you love? What do you love doing? Who do you love being with? How do you feel when you're doing things with others or you're doing this particular thing you enjoy? How does it make you feel? How does it make you energized and uplifted and vibrating higher? Psychic abilities, number 10, will enhance and connect your gifts and intuition. Don't forget that. That's an important one. It comes with all of these other things that you've done as you're getting there. All of these things are integrating with each other. And finally, number 11, you will see your old life collapsing. People will shift in and out of your life. Things are shifting on the outer world. As we know, we're having the tower moment. Things need to be fallen apart before they're brought up and brought together, like the Tower card, in our lives as well. If you notice, every precipitating change that most of us go through starts with a movement due to something changing that we have to move into something else. Look back on those changes. Look back on them, because they're going to tell you what the future will bring. History is repeated. We say this over and over again, but it isn't just history out there. It's history in here. This is all part of the process that we're going through in order to go to the ascension into the 5D. We have to live in this world of 3D, but we do not have to process our world with that mindset. We want to uplift our mindset. We want to move into higher thoughts, higher feelings, higher vibrations, and to ascend to our best potential. That is the key. Give yourself those nuggets of wisdom in order to move you into the place that you need to be in for this lifetime. I hope everybody got something out of this. I welcome any kind of comments and disagreement if you want, but I think most of this is very positive, and I believe that we can all attain it. I would never, ever think we couldn't. I think we all have the power. You got the power. Have a great day. Until next time.